welcome to Optimism Fractal, our 10th meeting, and Happy New Year to you all. Hope you had a happy holidays and enjoyed everything you've done over the past few weeks. I'm thrilled to be back at Optimism Fractal here with Rosmari, Hodlon, Beckers, and Loring, who's a new friend, first time joining. Welcome, Loring. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. If everybody who's watching, thanks for being here. Hope that you're enjoying your day, and we will jump right into it with a little presentation to share where we're at with Optimism Fractal, as well as what we'll be doing today. So hope you enjoy the presentation. If anyone wants to wave hello or give a quick shout out or hello, then feel free to. Otherwise, I'll jump right into it, and then we'll get into the respec game. Thank you, Loring and Hodline, for the claps. I appreciate it very much. And I'm very excited here to be at Optimism Fractal. You can learn more at optimismfractal.com. Optimism Fractal is a community dedicated to fostering collaboration and awarding public goods creators and optimism. We're going optimism, creating a great future and amazing experience for everybody. It's an awesome place to meet optimists, meet builders, innovators, creators in the Optimism Collective and wider Web3 space, and also earn respect, because every week we play an innovative consensus game that's profoundly helpful called the Respect Game, where we each share what we're doing to help, and then we rank each other's contributions, and we can earn a respect token, which we'll talk more about. And it's a great place to promote your work too, since we publish these videos every week on the Optimistics YouTube channel, as well as the Eden Creators YouTube channel on social media. So encourage you to join Optimism Fractal meetings. We have these meetings every Monday at 17 UTC. And invite friends, and it's a great place to grow optimism. We're also using OP stack tools to facilitate our meetings too, which we can get into, and you can learn more about at optimismfractal.com. Once again, wishing everyone a joyful 2024 from the Optimistics team. The Optimistics team is myself and two developers named Vlad and Tadas, who help build the tools. So hope that everybody has an awesome year, and I'm really stoked to be doing Optimism Fractal and everything else that we're doing together in this year, and looking forward to much more coming up. So basically, we had our first 9 meetings of Optimism Fractal last year, or our first 9 events, and now we're going in and we've been determining our consensus process and what to do in the next season and so forth. We put up a post in the Optimism governance forum, gov.optimism.io, every week, where you can learn more about what we're doing, as well as the videos from every week you can find here or on the YouTube channels. So encourage you, if you're not familiar with Optimism Fractal yet, to watch our videos, explore the websites to learn more, and get involved, join the events. It's a great way to measure positive impact and all sorts of other stuff. But yeah, you can check out our post on Governance Forum for Optimism every week, and register for our weekly events at loo.ma/optimismfractal. Also, our videos, in addition to the governance forum, to post on optimismfractal.com/media, and so you can watch all the videos from our first season, as well as when we experimented with retro pitches and much more. And then in addition, there's also our videos on the YouTube channels I mentioned before, and optimistics.io/videos too. So lots of ways where you can learn and interact with our work, and we appreciate all the engagement. If you're not yet familiar with Optimism, you can check out optimism.io. Very much encourage you to learn about it. It's Ethereum scaled. There's an OP mainnet, which is low-cost and lightning-fast Ethereum L2 blockchain powered by Optimism. But Optimism, it's a super chain, and it's a really great way that humans can coordinate. There's something called the Optimism Collective that is designed to reward public goods and build a sustainable for the future of Ethereum and the open internet for all. So recommend you to learn more at optimism.io if you haven't yet already, as well as their Mirror blog post. And we also have posts too at optimistic.io/blog, where you can learn more about the Optimism Collective, as well as a video we created a few months ago. So encourage you to check it out and get involved with Optimism if you're not familiar with Optimism already. Really, really cool stuff going in the Optimism community, and we here at Optimism Fractal, we love to support public goods creators and builders in the Optimism Collective. I'm going to pause this. I don't know if you can hear it. And then also, one other thing I want to shout out to is that there's a We Love the Art competition going on in Optimism, where there's 1.2 million OP in prizes for on-chain artists for making on-chain art. That ends today. So if anybody hasn't submitted yet but wants to do so, encourage you to check it out at welovetheart.optimism.io. And then lastly, what we're going to do now is we're going to play the respect game. So welcome, Abraham. Thanks so much for joining, and I hope that you're doing great. We have 6 people here. So normally, if we had more than 6 people, then we'd split up into 2 breakout rooms with up to 6 people each. But right now, we're just going to do, I think, just 6 of us, and we're going to hang out in this room. And basically, the respect game, it's a profoundly helpful consensus game that anyone can play to grow their community. It's a great way to foster collaborations, raise awareness for public goods creators, help communities fairly reward impact, and it also helps communities coordinate to achieve shared goals and make decisions together. We have a tutorial video here that you can learn about the respect game, as well as an overview how to play if you're not familiar with it yet. But yeah, basically what's going to happen is, after this presentation ends in a moment, then each of us are going to take our turns to speak about who we are and what we've done for the past, or we're going to each briefly introduce ourselves if you haven't yet already, and then share what you've been doing to help the Optimism Collective and help grow optimism for up to 4 minutes. And usually we do this on a weekly basis, but because we haven't met in 3 weeks or 2 weeks, you can just share what you've done over the past few weeks since our last meeting about helping optimism, or in general, if you've done other stuff for a while to help optimism, then feel free to share that as well. And then we're each going to, after everybody takes their 4 minutes, we're going to work together to reach consensus on the relative value of those contributions, who helped the most, who helped the second most, who helped the third most, and so forth. And we're going to reach 4 to 6 consensus. We're going to aim to reach 4 to 6 consensus about who helped the most and who helped the second most, and so forth. And then based on that, if we can reach consensus with 2/3 consensus, then a non-transferable soulbound respect token will be given out to each community member. You'll earn more if you get a higher rank, and then that can be used for all sorts of mystical powers and fun things in the future. That's basically the overview of the game. Feel free to ask any questions if you're not sure, and you can also check out optimismfractal.com/details to learn more as well, with the key links, with the apps that we use to connect with the OP mainnet, and then a high-level overview of how it works as well. Afterwards, we'll probably stick around with a little discussion about the future of Optimism Fractal 2. And if anybody's interested, you can check out optimistics.io/tools to learn about these tools and how you can use these tools with your community or organization or your project to help out any community, really. Lastly, you can check out our blog, optimistics.io/blog, learn more, and get in contact by joining the Optimism Fractal Discord, or just joining our weekly meetings every Monday at 17 UTC at lou.mosh/optimismfractal and optimismfractal.com. Thanks everybody so much for being here, and thanks all for listening. Hope you've enjoyed, and hope that everybody's very excited to play the respect game. If anybody has any quick questions, I know, Lauren, you're new here, so if anything's not clear, then you can feel free to ask. But otherwise, if anybody wants to go ahead first and just introduce themselves and take their 4 minutes, we'll put a little timer up, and then we can each take our turns to share what we've been doing to help optimism. Lauren?
Yeah, what's the scope of the contributions? Is it just for OP mainnet, or is it any chain in the Optimism Superchain?
It is the Optimism Superchain. So helping any chain, the Optimism Superchain, helping the OP mainnet might be valued higher, or depending on how different people perceive it. But I think we should for sure reward, or we should award and respect contributions to the whole Optimism Superchain, as well as if you have contributions to the broader Ethereum ecosystem or other ecosystems that are closely aligned with Optimism. That's also a helpful contribution as well to Optimism too. Okay, cool. We got a couple thumbs up. So would anybody like to go first?
Ooh, me.
All right. Sounds good, Abraham.
Somebody has to do
it. Cool.
Okay. I don't know if I'll take the whole 4 minutes, but I just have enjoyed participating in Optimistics in the past. It's just such a positive vibe. So thanks for sticking with us, and I really appreciate it. It's really a cool way for me to learn. So I am I'm a developer from way back. I've probably been developing for like 15 years, but I've mainly been in Web 2. I am sort of in the transition between Web 2 and Web 3. I'm learning, smart contracts. I'm learning specifically like SDKs, trying to figure out, I'm using Alchemy and just trying to like get my bearings a bit. One of the things I've been working on is that I've historically, some will probably scoff at this, but I've historically been an Angular developer, and I've also done full stack. And I noticed that there really isn't an easy onboard that I've found for an Angular front-end developer to start using and kind of interacting with the blockchain. So what I was going to do is try and create a Docker package that just kind of wraps up just a really cursory, easy starter that has, that tries to not expose a bunch of holes, and just published on GitHub for other folks to use who may also be using Angular, because I think most folks are using React. So that was one thing that I'm kind of working on. I've got a Docker image in place, and I have the Angular 17 set up. So there's some nuance to actually making it worthy and ready for folks to use. So I'm still in the process of getting that, but that should be on its way. And then I've also got this cool. I read a paper called My Techno Optimism by Vitalik, put out, I guess, a couple of weeks ago. And I was super inspired by it. I loved the, I kind of tried to summarize this, and I hope I don't like screw it up, but essentially the big ideas that I got out of it were hope greater than fear, defensive is greater than oppression, connected better than decentralized, tech is not necessarily evil, on its own. Maximizing profit does not equal public good. We could potentially be pets of an AI at some point in the future, and community notes is probably preferable to censorship. So, I was reading all this stuff and just his examples and the way he's like sort of framing all this really resonated with me. And I'm also an artist and a musician, so I was inspired. I thought I should do something to kind of commemorate this piece because I thought it was sort of epic. And I'm realizing now, after reading some some other posts on Farcaster, that maybe like I could be a little naive in just my optimism about this, but it is really cool. So I thought, what, I'm going to create a piece of art that kind of commemorates this. Let me see if I can share my screen here. Where do I do that?
You should be able to share on the bottom. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Okay. So let me make sure I get the right. Okay. This should be it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Are you guys seeing it?
Yes.
Okay. So I created this piece of art. It's free to mint on Zora on the OP chain. And the idea behind it is just, you've got nodes in a network, interconnected nodes here. He's kind of got an environmental piece. He's talking about we're not segregating ourselves from the world and nature. And I thought that was really cool. But also we're kind of shaping technology, and also there's some balance between acceleration and going in this human AI, human machine integration, and also like trying to find some reasonable safeguards against the acceleration that's kind of already happening. So that's my little artistic contribution. So yeah, that's what I got. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing that. So it was a lot of fun, and I also am still learning on how to mint NFTs and all that kind of stuff. So that was pretty cool.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Abraham. Looks really cool. I was also really inspired by that DIAC article too. I enjoyed listening to a podcast about it. I saw we should pass it on, be pretty timely, but I did see BBS who was this, and he said the quote. I'm guessing I don't know what the quote is he's talking about. Are you talking about Vitalik Buterin, or I don't know if you wanted to answer that briefly or
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking about Vitalik Buterin. Let's see. Yeah, I can actually pass on the link to the paper if you want.
cool. Sounds good.
It's,
Yeah,
yeah, it's exceptional.
yeah, it's also posted. You posted it in the Optimism Fractal Discord as well too, and I think that the link to the paper was linked there as well too. And then plus, if you search on YouTube, then you did a great interview about it. So thank you very much, Abraham. Would you like to pass it on to pick who goes next?
Okay. Who else do we have on here? It looks like BB is next in line. BB, do you have anything?
Yeah, sorry, I was searching for the unmute button. Happy New Year, y'all. Let's see. I mostly unplugged, so I haven't done that much over the last at least around the holidays. Picking up pace again where we ended. So releasing the marketplace for hypercerts, and I'm actually reaching out to a set of projects that we want to support in integrating hypercerts in their process or in their application that they're using. One of them is a project that I really like, which is VoiceDeck, which is spearheaded by Divine, which is like our mascot for hypercerts. And he's trying to establish a marketplace to fund journalistic impact, because apparently, at least in India, the biggest revenue stream for journalism is Bollywood. So they could use a second source. Let's see. I think most things that I'm currently doing is just starting with something. So nothing fruitful yet at the moment. Yeah, really short update. I just had holidays.
All right, well, sounds good, Beckers. Looking forward to seeing more of your work come to fruition, and glad you enjoyed the holidays. If you wanted to, then you still have 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so you could talk about anything on your mind. But if you wanted to pass it on at any point, then you're welcome to do so as well.
No, I'll pass it on to Loring. Thanks.
Okay, cool. You're welcome, and thank you.
Great. So my name's Loring. Just as a personal introduction, I got into crypto about 3 years ago. I was living in Yangon, Myanmar, doing alternative finance. And as you may have heard, there was a military coup in February 2021. And the new dictatorship ended up weaponizing the traditional banking system and using it to track down and imprison pro-democracy activists. And so a lot of people actually turned to crypto, some of them to do anonymous transactions or pseudonymous transactions, some of them to safeguard their assets while they fled the country. And some friends of mine in Myanmar kind of piqued my curiosity, turned me onto crypto, and I ended up falling down the rabbit hole. And then collaborating with a wonderful company based in Germany called BrainBot. BrainBot has been building on Ethereum since March of 2014. They contributed to the original Python client, and since then have been building to scale Ethereum. Their lead project at the moment is Shutter Network, which does encryption for base layer neutrality. And I mentioned a little bit about it before, so I won't repeat myself. But I focus on kind of partnerships and also fundraising. And then kind of think, that's what I do for my day job right now, focusing on Shutter. In my spare time, I also try as much as possible to support Glow Dollar, one of my favorite crypto projects, and also the Public Goods Network. So 3 contributions to kind of Optimism and the OP Superchain. Number 1, through Shutter Network, working with different optimistic rollups that are part of the OP Superchain to evaluate encrypted mempools as a way of preventing malicious MEV and censorship on their chains. Unfortunately, I can't name any names at the moment, but we should have some pretty big partnership announcements coming up soon. Number 2, I've been working with the Glow Dollar team to basically create a Glow Dollar ecosystem on OP mainnet as kind of a central USD Glow liquidity hub on Ethereum L2s. And I could talk more about some of those projects in just a second. And then 3rd, I'm also a member of the PGN Alliance, which kind of helps create strategy for Public Goods Network, which is an OP stack rollup. And specifically in the past couple of weeks, I've been reaching out to different DEXs to see if any of them would be interested in creating an instance on PGN, because PGN does not have a DEX at the moment, and it is one of their top requested dApps from the community. That's all from me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Loring. Sounds fascinating. Would you like to pick somebody to go next?
I guess I'll pick Hodlon.
Cool. Thank you. Hello. And thank you, Rosmari, for taking notes for all of us. I'm going to share my screen really quick. Oh, sorry. I need to change my system preferences.
If you think it would be helpful, Hodlon, I don't know how long that'll take, but we could, one of us, me or Rosemary, could go first and you go after if it'll take a little while.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Let's see if I can do it in. I need to quit Zoom. So yeah, go ahead and one of y'all can go, and I need to quit Zoom and open it up again.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, we'll see you soon. Looking forward to seeing your presentation.
Okay.
And who should we go next? Should it be me or Rosmari? I don't know. Do you want to decide first, Lauren, since you were the nominator before, or?
I guess I'll choose Rosmari then.
All right.
Great. I'm Rosmari, and I am part of the Optimistics team, and I contribute mostly as a marketeer. And now I will share my screen to show you my contributions for the past few weeks. First, I worked on promoting today's event. You can follow us at optimistics_ on Twitter. I collaborated with them to draft a message, as well as I worked on this artwork, and I wish everyone a happy new year. And also promote this in Warpcast, which is Farcaster, in Discord on the Show and Tell channel, on the Optimistic Discord main channel. And then also I do a lot of video editing. So I edited the Optimism Fractal 8, and you can also follow us at Eden Creators on YouTube to see all the videos that we produce. And worked on the thumbnail for that one, which you can see at if you check out optimistics.com/media. And also I worked on Eden Fractal, producing some videos for Eden Fractal from the 78th and 79th meeting, where we were pioneering new games, where we were coming together as a group to reach consensus on our vision. And Eden Fractal is a meeting where we pioneer most of these tools and methods and games that we now bring over to Optimism Fractal, and I'm sure Dan will tell us more about that. And also I participated in the Octant Epoch 2 community call, and we promoted it. Dan worked on this message, but what I did was I created this artwork, and then I really enjoyed the call, and glad to meet you there, Lauren. I heard from you too. And then also I went to support Dan presenting Optimistics at the Optimism's demo day, and that was held in the OP Discord server. We have a recording from that, and we want to produce it too. And also we love the art competition. It ends today actually, so I was working on some draft art, which I can show you some of it now. I used AI to do it, so I don't know, it's kind of still in draft mode. And then yesterday, for the first time, I tried to make a collage from a few of my pictures. It's a bit messy, but I don't know, maybe it'll turn out something good. So also I signed up for Kevin Milwaukee's new meeting, which is coming up on 25th of January. And you can find out more information about regenlearnings.xyz. It's a research group that he's going to start supporting Web3 public goods. And you can RSVP following the link from there. I recommend it. And also I did some research into Greenpill and downloaded the books. They're free. So I also found out that this one is an audiobook, and started listening to it and watched a bunch of podcasts about Octant 2, and that's it. And then I joined PGN's Builders Community Call too. Okay. And I'll share the contributions, the notes that I took for everyone's contributions in the chat soon.
All right, wonderful.
Hodlon, are you ready?
There's the unmute button. Yes, I am. Okay, did everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. I guess quick intro, I work on privacy tools as kind of more in a product manager, project manager type of way. And then also interested generally in DAO governance, solving DAO governance type of problems as my extracurricular. So about a month ago, I published this cast thread about reputation-based governance, which is something that I saw Optimism Fractal doing, as well as HATS protocol. And then as a follow-up to that, you can see I did one for HATS, and then this last week I published the one thread right here on Optimism Fractal. And put that out there, and it just kind of describes what we do and kind of how we do it on like a very basic overview, just to kind of, I don't know, summarize it, put it into however many, you know, there's like seven casts or something like that, to share it with people, and then gave, you know, links to all of the tools, and then with an invite at the bottom for this. So that was my main contribution. I've also been working on, this is not published yet. This is still draft mode, but this is kind of a retrospective, I guess, of kind of our first 12 weeks, like our first season, so to speak, or the bootstrapping phase. And so I'm just getting some of my thoughts together here and looking to possibly publish that in the next, this week, hoping to publish it this week and talk about it next week. And then I wanted to share quests about quests. So this is ProtoDAO is the HATS protocol governance DAO. And they use, a part of how they do things is they have a little more formalized process of like people sharing what they're doing and tracking it, and they use quests for it. So for example, this the cast thread that I did for HATS, I put into a quest like this and kind of described what I did as my contribution to the HATS protocol. So I just wanted to kind of give insight into that. And then I was inspired I made one, okay, this is a little meta, but I made a quest for contributing to HATS protocol that is about integrating HATS protocol with Optimism Fractal. So, and the way this kind of works is, and I'm sharing it here and wanting to share it here because Dan, you've spoken a little bit about, you know, maybe integrating some of like integrating HATS into kind of what we do. And if we wanted to do that and kind of track it using this, then we could also receive the equivalent of respect tokens. They're called proto-rep or rep within the HATS protocol, I guess, you know, community as well. So I kind of saw it as a way to kind of like integrate our communities or kind of share in that way. So this is, you can jump into this, and I can like share a link to this and follow up if anybody wants to join this to get like a more formal way of doing that. And then I also started this book by David Erckman, who is also part of HATS protocol over the break. And that's it for me.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Hodlon. Really exciting to see everybody's contributions talked about it. So thanks all so much. I'll go ahead and share a little bit about me, what I've been doing now too. So I'm Dancing Joy, founder of Optimistics and Optimism Fractal, along with Optimistics team. And I am stoked about optimism and helping communities grow with these innovative new tools and so forth. I think you can see it. Yeah, okay, so you can see it. So yeah, you can learn more on Optimism. I, of course, as Rosmari said, I gave a presentation at the Optimism demo day. I spoke for about 15 minutes and spoke with about 15 people. There's somebody who registered who's a host and did some good promotion for what we're doing here. One of the big things I worked on over this week or the past few weeks was working with Octant. So Octant was on my radar, and both Loring and Rosmari both mentioned it. You can check out octant.build. It's a protocol, or I don't know, it's a platform for experiments and decentralized governance that reward participation, and also they're very aligned with helping fund public goods. They're working with the Golem Foundation and have 100,000 ETH that they're using to fund public goods and do decentralized governance experiments. So I worked a lot on just doing research about this because I figured it was a great opportunity to promote what we're doing here at Optimism Fractal. And with the Optimistics, I spoke at the Octant community call and gave a little introduction, and we made this Twitter thread where I posted about it, and I wrote this tweet as well, most of it, and then retweeted Rosemary's tweet. And then I had also written a pretty detailed introduction to Optimistics on the Octant forum as well, and talked about Optimism Fractal as well as the history. Rosemary mentioned Eden Fractal, where we've been pioneering these games and coordination tools for the past about 80 months now, and then also working with several hundred builders and another Web3 ecosystem for a few years on this. So kind of went over a little bit about that. And then I also followed up with another post explaining in a shorter way about the Optimistics. I'm planning to also update the website with some of these things too, to help like provide a more short way to describe it. There's also some interaction in the Discord group that I had with their team, and a bunch of interactions on like Twitter posts and stuff like that, where you can learn more. And I also made a post about what ideal community-led governance in Octant could look like as well, where I talked about how the respecting can help too. And I made an article at Octant too, where I curated some videos at optimistics.io/Octant. In addition, people mentioned Public Goods Network. I also participated in the recent calls of Public Goods Network and OP Stack Chain, and reached out with 3 of their people working, Sophia, Nicole, and Bertrand, and I'm looking forward to following up with them, as well as been paying attention and following up with Regen Learnings and what Gitcoin community and Kevin Awalki's been doing. And I've also been working on art for the We Heart the Art competition, as well as just checking out and learning a lot more about on-chain art and sharing with friends. I also have a little article I put together with Twitter Space and stuff about We Heart the Art, and planning to build that out more. Doing a lot of research into Farcaster and Lens Protocol, as well as doing just general research into the Optimism Collective and Bankless, talking about Ethereum podcasts and stuff like that too. And then I put out the promotional messages for the first Optimism Fractal event of the year, gave feedback for Rosmari on the image, as well as wrote out the text and worked a lot with Rosmari on the image and the text and stuff like that for our videos. Also, a lot of the videos we haven't shared that much. They don't have like a huge amount of views, and we think that they're really good content. So we're working on strategies to share them more often. So working on like getting like a content release schedule to be more efficient in sharing things often. And I participated in some brainstorming too with Beckers and Hodlon and Tadas as well in the Discord chat too. And I have a lot more writing that will be coming out soon. And then I worked a lot with Rosmari on like the process of making these images as helpful as possible, and also targeting them to help communicate the benefits of the respect game for impact evaluation to the Optimism Collective. Also worked with Rosmari a lot on the images and the text for the Eden Fractal meetings, where we've also been pioneering a lot of these. And specifically, we've been using the respect game to make decisions and talking about like voting on our vision and so forth. So we've been creating new games for the past while. And just before, I made a pretty detailed new kind of condensed game called Vision Quest, which is based off the respect game, but has some new ideas. People can learn more about that at edenfractal.com. And I'm just out of time, but I also host a couple of meetings over the week with the Optimistics team, where we talked about a lot of these things in more detail, and have been working on a lot of projects in the background. One of them being to kind of make a formal role for like leads, so people can learn how to admin Fractalgram and learn how to lead rooms. So as we grow, we'll have more time for people, more capacity to grow with more people. And I've been researching a lot of on-chain stuff, and Tadas is a new idea about the consensus process. That's that. Thank you for listening. And to go into more detail about those things as well. If anybody has any questions or comments for anybody, that would be helpful. Thank you for the little applause there. I appreciate it very much. We can get into consensus, and I see Rosmari created a Telegram group for us to do the consensus reaching process. Thank you very much, Rosmari. And I see Beckers, and I think Rosmari also shared some contribution notes in the Zoom chat. So that's very helpful. Thanks so much for both putting that together. If anybody has any questions or comments for anybody related to their consensus, that'd be helpful for you to better understand how to rank each person's contribution, then feel free to share. I suppose we only do have 13 minutes before the top of the hour because we had a little bit of a delay start with some technical issues. So maybe we should just jump right into consensus. But if anybody has any quick questions, then feel free to ask. And if anybody hasn't yet joined the Telegram group, then please do. Just one thing, I suppose I'll join because I haven't joined yet, but I just want to make sure that Loring had a Telegram account too, if you'd be able to join that. But it looks like everybody's here already.
I invited you. You're in there. Everyone's in there.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Rosmari. Okay, so Rosmari just put out the account prompt. It says, please enter your Optimism account as a reply to this message. So please enter your public key associated with your Optimism account there. And yeah, if anybody does have any quick comments or
As
questions,
a
then
reply
feel
to the
free.
message.
Yes, as a reply, yes.
Dan, would a lead be what like Rosmari is doing right now by running the Fractalgram and all of that?
Yeah, so the main responsibility is really like just running Fractalgram, and then also just helping to make sure that the group can reach consensus within an hour. And then there's some optional stuff like just like if leads could record the video, that would be cool, or if they want to just kind of keep the conversation moving along and having fun with that and stuff like that. But yeah, the main responsibility would be doing Fractalgram.
That's cool. I mean, that's like a necessary thing to be able to scale, right? It's just like if we had a bunch of people showing up, we would need people trained to like be able to do the breakout groups.
Yeah, that's one of the things we were thinking about. If we get 3 breakout rooms or 4 breakout rooms, but only me and Rosmari and Tadas know how to do the Fractalgram, then we'd be in a little bit of a tight spot. So it'd be good to if anybody here is interested in learning how to do so, we'd be happy to share. There's some like pretty quick and easy tutorials, so it's not too difficult. But it'd be awesome to have more people who know how to lead the room like that.
Yeah, I would be interested in doing that. I can follow up with you.
Okay. Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks, Hodlon. And yeah, we can also talk about it after the spec game too. I have time afterwards too, so I don't know if everybody needs to go in 10 minutes or so, yeah, if we will need to go in 10 minutes, then we can make sure that we reach consensus there, because we do want to make sure that we have 4 to 6 people reach consensus by on chain, so they'll all get respect without having to deal with any extra consensus process. So if anybody does have to go at the top of the hour, then I guess please let us know. But otherwise, we can also stick around and talk about stuff like that, as well as all sorts of other interesting ideas that people have brought up and brainstorming about afterwards too. And now we can vote on who you think should be ranked as level 6. Who do you think did the most to help Optimism recently in the past, like, a few weeks, because we missed the past few weeks.
Wow. Pretty evenly distributed so far.
Okay, so yep, looks like we have 5 votes. One person hasn't voted yet.
I see 6 votes.
It's spread out over 4 people.
Okay, yeah, it looks like Loring has 2 votes from me and Hodlon. Beckers has 1 vote from Abraham. I have 2 votes from Rosmari and Beckers, and Rosmari has 1 vote from Loring. So now we need to get 4 to 6 to reach consensus. So currently we don't have consensus. Would anybody like to share their reasoning or advocate either way for why they voted, for who they voted for, who they think should be level 6?
Yeah, 2 points. I really had a lot of holiday. So if you take mental wellness into account, maybe I did something for OP, but besides that, I really didn't do much. And second, I voted for Dan because of all the content creation and copying and information sharing, all the different sources, because it's like my least favorite activity. So kudos.
Thanks, Beckers. I appreciate that. And I'm very glad that you're feeling well rested and more mentally well too. That's very important too.
I thought that Dan did a lot of really great work, but I voted for Loring because I wanted to validate and recognize a lot of the work outside of specifically Optimism Fractal and kind of the wider. So I was like valuing that a little more as like the work that Loring has been doing in general. I thought it was really interesting, and happy that Loring, you came and participated. So that's why my vote went to you.
Sounds good. I don't know if by the way, I don't have my phone on me, and sometimes when I look at my computer, it doesn't like update automatically. So if the votes have been changing, then feel free to jump in and let me know. But as far as I see, the votes are still the same. So I guess if anybody else wants to jump in and share their reasoning, then feel free as well. Or I can also share my thoughts about why I voted for Lauren here. But I see a couple people are unmuted here too, so feel free to jump in if anyone wants to share their thoughts next.
This is probably a dumb question, but how do I switch votes in the Telegram?
you if you're on a computer like a laptop, then you right
Yeah.
click on the vote and you hit retract vote. And if you're on a
Ah.
mobile device, then you hold down on it and
Got it.
retract
Thanks.
vote.
Sorry.
You're welcome.
That's not a dumb question at all.
Yeah, it's important.
Telegram has a lot of features.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to switch mine over. Just also kind of I'm going along with the it's cool to see some outside folks joining and so I'm going to switch mine over to Loring. I
Okay,
was
cool.
honestly very impressed by all the creds there in the work.
Loring, I think if you just vote for yourself, you can shore up the first place.
No, I won't do that. I was kind of on the fence. Let's see, between Rosmari, Dan, and Hodlon. I voted for Rosmari for a couple of different reasons. One was she was working on so many different projects and not just in one way. So some of it was creating art, some of it was creating written content, so kind of a video content, a combination of media, and I appreciated that. I think if I had to change a vote, I'd be comfortable changing to Dan for the reason that I know the Octant Epoch 2 application was quite difficult and lengthy to do. And so I empathize with the amount of effort that went into that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to change my vote for Dan.
Which doesn't help us.
I know.
It puts it 50-50. Yeah, so thanks for that. That was a huge amount of work. And so I empathize with you and your team for working on that application too, as well as I appreciate in general. It seems like you've been working in this space for a long time, doing a lot of great stuff. You mentioned several different contributions to the Optimism Collective that I appreciate as well. I'm looking forward to seeing how we can collaborate. I know you reached out to me during that call and said that you were doing a lot of research into the respect game and optimistics and fractals and stuff like that too. So I think that's awesome, and it seems like you could help optimism greatly while also helping the projects you're helping and help Optimism Fractal a lot too. So I appreciate your vote too. I'm happy to go either way, but I am still voting for Loring right now, and I think that Loring now has a consensus because I think that somebody changed to Loring. So now it looks like Loring has 4 out of 6.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And thank you. And much respect. And also thank you, Abraham, for saying you'd like to help too if needed. That's much appreciated.
You bet.
I'm voting for Beckers, who helped us get through the first round of voting.
Rosemary, you'd like to put on? Oh, she's ahead of me. Always one step ahead, Rosemary. Okay, so now level 5. Who do you think did the second most help optimism recently? It's very difficult, by the way. I'll just say it's always pretty difficult in general when you have people doing such great contributions, but also especially because people. It's been a few weeks, so people have done a lot of stuff.
Oh wow, that's consensus.
Then,
Okay.
Or wait, how many people?
have we voted?
Yeah.
Then,
Okay.
okay.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
Merci. Okay,
Ro-
so Rosemary has 4 to 6. I'll just say I voted for Hodlon last time. So it could be 3 to 3. So if anybody wants to try to like sway it either way, I'm open to voting for Hodlon as well. I think Rosemary, I've been working close with her and she's doing excellent work. But I also really appreciate all you've been doing, Hodlon. That sounds super cool. With I did check out the thread and it was very well written, and I appreciate you spreading the word. I also appreciate too you've invited several people to Optimism Fractal in the past. Of course that's kind of like past contributions, but I just really appreciate how you've been rallying around and becoming such a big contributor to Optimism Fractal, as well as the work you've been doing with Hat's Proto DAO and that uh, brainstorming kind of retrospective. That sounds like incredibly helpful. But also Rosemary has been doing an amazing job too, so it was kind of difficult for me to pick. And I'm happy to stick with this with Rosemary at level 5. But if anybody wanted to try to sway it either way, then I'm happy to go either way and really appreciate Hotline's contributions.
Thanks. I
I
appreciate
advocate for Hodlon.
you. What? Oh yeah,
I
no,
advocate for you
we voted
because
for.
you've done a lot of sharing the word and spreading the joy and your feedback on how much you like this game and these meetings. And I read the cast that you created. It was really good, and also even learning that about this quest, where you also mentioned Optimism Fractal in collaboration with Has Protocol as a possible way going forward. I mean, this is enough for me to vote for you and advocate for Hodlon. Whoever wants to change, if anyone wants to change. And sorry to interrupt.
No, that's good. I appreciate it.
Cool. Well, it looks like somebody just dropped out with Beckers. It still is, as far as I see, Rosemary still has 4 and 2 for Hodlon. So in the name of consensus, I'm happy to still stick with my vote for Rosemary, because I could also vote advocate a lot for Rosemary. But if anybody wants to switch to Hodlon as well, then I'd be happy to switch over. Does anybody want to switch, or should we stick with this and then go on to level 3?
I would be happy to take your vote, Dan, for the next round if everybody is on consensus for Rosemary.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Well, thank you, Hodlon. And yeah, it looks like somebody else switched the vote to Rosemary as well. So Rosemary has consensus now. And we can move on to level 3. Hopefully a bit bigger to be back soon too.
Beckers here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Lowering.
Yeah, lowering, my bad. Okay, and it looks like we have consensus for Hodlon 4 to 5.
Woo.
So, and now who should be ranked level 2 today? And it looks like there's consensus for Abraham at level 2. So thank you, everybody, and much respect. Great respect game. And I think, Rosemary, you could probably do the prompt now so we can submit that on chain.
Oh, Loring is having technical difficulties.
Okay, did he write that somewhere?
Yeah, in the Telegram, he said the Zoom crashed.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, hopefully that will be resolved soon. And I think everybody knows how it works here. If you could hit the here button at the bottom and then submit it. Actually, I think I'm just going to run away to the other room for a second, because I think I left my phone there, and that's how I can verify it. So I'll be back in just a moment, but I'll also admit Loring first.
FF.
Yeah, Lowering.
Sorry about that. Not
It's
sure what
okay.
happened.
It's okay. Good to have you back. So I generated a message, a prompt, which shows for each level the person that we reach consensus for, alongside their the public key and address. And results can be submitted when you click on here, which is on the line, which takes you to the front face.
I keep getting a blockchain not ready for some reason on mine.
Okay, I don't think I've heard of that issue before.
Sure, what's going on there? Let me try another browser tab.
Did you say blockchain not ready?
Mm-hmm.
That's a new one.
When the Optimism Fractal web app loads, it says failed to load web 3. It's kind of weird. Maybe it's not connecting to, like I can show you real quick if you want to see.
Sure.
So if I go, let me actually just start again. Okay, and close this. So if I go here, grab this, open. All right, so down here I get failed to load web 3 for some reason. What's going on?
One time, I think something similar, like a similar error, happened to me when I was logged in MetaMask through a different public key.
I wonder if, should I just kill this stuff? There's nothing in here.
Transaction.
Let's get rid of this stuff and see if that helps.
Is you're just using MetaMask? Is it connected to OP?
I'm using Coinbase wallet.
Oh, you use Wallet Connect.
Yeah, so that might be why.
And it might be auto connecting to MetaMask. Because you
Interesting. Yeah, I've got both of them here. Huh.
Yeah, I know I've used MetaMask on Brave a lot, and Brave has its own wallet, and then there's settings in Brave to like pick the default wallet that it gets picked with. And so I've had issues with that before. I don't know if your browser has some settings about which wallet to like prefer or something. Have you tried to sign it with the same configuration and same thing before in the past? 'Cause I think you've been able to do it successfully in the past, right?
I think I didn't have MetaMask rigged up in this browser or something, or yeah, or maybe I did it on my phone. Let me try on the phone.
Okay. Good luck, of course. Well, has everybody else been able to submit it, or is anybody else having issues? Okay, cool. Thumbs up from
No.
Loring.
I'm having issues with my hardware wallet.
Okay.
I'm just troubleshooting that now.
Okay, good luck. Live issue solving here.
It's funny, the biggest friction it seems we always have is with the technology itself. No.
welcome to Web3.
Yeah, that's exactly. Put it on chain. There we go. Now the pop-up is popping up. Oh, no, it's not. That's weird. Yeah, my transaction is not going through.
What happens after the transaction is submitted?
Just acting weird. So like usually when I go to confirm it, there's a pop-up that allows me to put in the Trezor PIN to do it, but that pop-up wasn't happening. And now it seems like there's 2 pending transactions. Now MetaMask is acting weird and not letting me do anymore. Requests waiting to be acknowledged. So it's like stuck waiting for me to confirm the transaction, and also not letting me confirm the transaction at the same time. Let's see. I think I can clear.
By the way, Lauren, was that the question you're asking? I'm not sure if you're asking specifically with Hodlon's issue, or you're asking more generally what happens after the transaction gets submitted with Optimism Fractal.
Oh,
More generally.
oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about my troubleshooting
Sorry
issue.
about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All good. Well, yeah, hopefully you can get that fixed, Hodlon, and then I'll go ahead and answer Lauren's question first, and then if we want to return to if you're solving the issue, happy to help troubleshoot it.
Yeah.
So basically, what happens is we all submit the consensus on chain. It goes to the contract account, and if 4 out of 6 of us, 66% of the group, all submits the same transaction, it has like the rankings built into the transaction basically, then later this week, Tadas, who is a developer on the Optimistics team, he will review it and then call a action called submit ranks, and then that will distribute a soulbound token called respect to everybody who participated in the room and reach consensus. So that respect, people get more respect if they got a higher rank, and it may be interested in details. We have a lot more details. Optimistics.io. The person who gets level 6 gets 55 respect. Person who gets level 5 gets 34 respect. Person who gets level 4 gets 21 respect. It goes according to the Fibonacci ratio. So each person gets about 60% more respect than the previous level. And then the respect is basically an opinion of the community that, hey, we respect your work, we respect what you did. And it's a way of saying thanks. We're also working on having like an NFT integration. That's something I didn't share as well, but it's also an NFT, an entity that can have an image too. So it could be like a cool thing to look at. And then we've also been talking about consensus processes as well, where this respect game, it can help form a governance system that's quite democratic and helps communities coordinate. So we could use that respect for all sorts of things in the future. Like, for example, we've been talking about using HATS protocol to make it so people can join, a special Discord or do some special things if they have a certain amount of respect. Or there can also be some sort of council, which actually Tadas shared a very interesting post about, that people can, kind of like vote on community decisions and so forth with respect as well. But that's all kind of future stuff. For now, basically, it's just as long as we get to 66% consensus, then we'll each get respect, and people who got the most highest level will get more respect. So you get 55 respect in this in today's meeting.
Sounds great. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking. Abraham, I see you wrote, it looks like the issue you're having is the Web3 creation error request method wallet switch Ethereum chain is not supported. Interesting. And BB said you're on the wrong chain and the client can't switch you. I know. You want to go ahead, Hodlon?
No, I was just gonna say it sounds like you have to manually switch to Optimism, I think is what Beckers is implying.
Yeah. Oh, I'm muted. Yes.
Okay, let me take a look in here.
Yeah, I know MetaMask at least has an option towards the top of the plugin where you can switch between different main nets. So maybe that would be the thing to do in the Coinbase wallet. I know we had an issue with this. Vlad, who works on front end with another developer named Lenar, I thought he fixed that, so it made it so it just always default to the Optimism mainnet. But some of this is a bit out of my scope of knowledge too. So
It looks like MetaMask is actually on the OP mainnet. However, it looks like I can't tell what base, or excuse me, what Coinbase's wallet is on. It's a little more confusing there. Let me see if I can figure it out.
good luck. Now we're reaching the most exciting part where we're figuring out how to post on chain. Just kidding, but it is something that's necessary for,
They don't make it so easy
Well-
to switch networks in Coinbase Wallet. Interesting.
They want you on the base, maybe.
Yeah, right. Let me see if I can just log out of that thing.
Well, I think 4 of us have been able to submit it. Is that correct? Rosmari, myself, Beckers, and Loring have been able to submit it. So we should have 4 to 6 consensus on chain. I see there have been 4 transactions in the past 10 minutes or so. So we do have enough consensus to get respect on chain. If Abraham and Hodlon, you're able to get it, then that'd be great, just to make that consensus more clear. And also, for the future, it'd be good if we can all figure out how to be able to do this quickly. And there's a challenge in, like, especially if we have a lot of breakout rooms, we're talking about there's a need to train more people to be the leads and so forth. But then there's also an issue too where, say, if we grow and we have 12, 18, 30 people, 50 people, however many people, then over time we'll have to get better at, like, learning how to process transactions and stuff like that and get it up faster, so we're able to give everybody a great experience. And I mean, no hurry right now too. I know you guys are both quite technical, and I've also had lots of issues, but just as a general statement, it's good to get these issues resolved whenever you can.
No,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's kind of what I was referring to earlier, is that like it's kind of a bigger issue than just than like us figuring out the technical. It's like Web3 UX is what we're up against right now. Like at this submitting stuff on chain. All of our consensus stuff works great. We're all in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's sort of like I feel like a lot of times fighting through these little hiccups are probably what will distinguish someone who can help lead others through it from someone who just gets like, oh, I don't know what to do. Somebody will probably run into this too in the future.
But to troubleshoot, I'm gonna need to restart my computer, and I'm just gonna do that after we get off the call. So I'm not able to. I reached a wall.
Okay. Well, sounds good. If you're able to submit it, even if you're able to submit it after the 2 hours, it's supposed to be submitted within 2 hours. But if you want to just test it and get it submitted later when you have a chance, then that would be cool. But yeah, we can proceed on and talk about other things too. If there's anything else, Abraham, you want to mention that would be helpful for you to troubleshoot, then feel free to bring it up here. We'll also pass on any tips to Vlad and Tadas too, who might be able to help with this. I also watched. I was watching Rosemary's breakout room. She recorded breakout rooms the past few weeks, and so I saw conversations with Beckers and Hodlon talking about maybe making some improvements to the front end, something like that. And that would be much appreciated if you guys want to get involved in any way. I was thinking about maybe starting up like a developer chat in the Optimism Fractal group or something like that, where we could like coordinate stuff like that. I don't know when the time is right to do that, but I just wanted to say thanks. I appreciate listening to that. Thanks for Rosmari for recording those, and then thanks for everybody who participated in those. It was really interesting hearing, and over time we'll work together to refine these processes and make them better and better. I was also looking into Privy too, Privy.io, which allows people to sign up with email addresses, and apparently that works quite well. So that's something that I spoke with Vlad and Tadas and think I'll get involved with. And yeah, I suppose we can move on from the technical issues. When we had anything else that they thought about that, then happy to go into it. Be curious, Loring, what you thought about your first time at Optimism Fractal? Also, you mentioned a little bit about yourself before, but you said that you shared more about Shutter Network and who you are beforehand before we start recording. So I don't know if you wanted to go into any more detail about who you are and your background while we're on the recording so everybody could see it, or if you wanted to share a little bit about your experience with Optimism Fractal. Would be very curious to hear your thoughts. And then also too, the past few weeks before the break, we were talking a lot about, and Hodlon had shared the retrospective, and Beckers, a bunch of us were talking about brainstorming for next steps of Optimism Fractal. So that's something we can get into as well. I know Tadas published a very interesting post. I'm not sure if people had a chance to read it. But yeah, I suppose first, maybe if Loring, if you wanted to share any feedback or things you like, things you think we can improve, thoughts. I know you're thinking about integrating it in some way, so I'm curious what you're thinking about with that. But we can also save that for another time too. It's just up to you. If you want to share any thoughts here, then we're happy to hear from you.
Yeah, maybe a couple of quick thoughts. First of all, I really enjoyed the process. It was kind of like a longer, more detailed daily stand-up. I maybe was a little bit surprised that no one spoke about what they were going to do in the coming week, which is something that you would normally do as part of a stand-up. It was, I would say, refreshing to hear from people who I don't normally work with, or who are involved in different parts of Web3 than I am. And I found that really interesting. And I think if there were, multiple weeks attending these games, always kind of with breakout groups with different people, that trend would definitely continue. So I would come back, for that probably alone. I thought the voting was pretty cool, and the submitting of the transaction, at least for me, was straightforward and simple. So I really appreciated everything. In terms of leveraging the platform, Shutter is going to be kind of growing our community and launching a true DAO. So not just a snapshot with an association in Switzerland, but actually an on-chain organization. And I think that this could be a really interesting way for everyone in the community to have the opportunity to showcase the contributions that they made to the community, and get respect, or potentially, other recognition as a result of that. So thank you very much for having me, and thank you for hosting.
You're very welcome. And thank you so much, Lauren. Really appreciate it very much. I see Rosmari too, and Hodlon too, giving some parts. So that's great to hear. Abraham too, very much. Very nice to hear. So yeah, so a couple comments. One, I'm glad to hear you appreciate it so much. That's all very nice to hear. Happy to collaborate with you, and happy to follow up and talk more about how we can help Shutter with it. And if people aren't familiar with it, I don't know. I know Product Shutter on Twitter, and I imagine there's a website. I'm looking at the link tree right now. If people want to check it out, shutter.network, where people can learn more. You explained before how it's preventing front running and malicious MEV on Ethereum. MEV, for anybody who's not familiar, is minor extractable value. So that's an important issue that Ethereum is dealing with. So yeah, very interested in learning more about Shutter Protocol, and hearing more of your plans about potentially integrating the respect game, and in general growing the community with Shutter. And yeah, I'm happy that you enjoyed it, and looking forward to coming back again soon. And yeah, one of our goals is to grow the community a lot this year. We've kind of been setting the foundation, but we're aiming to have it where, I mean, with the fractal process, you could have many hundreds or many thousands or thousands of people coming together at one meeting. So it could be, I mean, already with our group here, we have some really amazing people here. And it's been such a pleasure getting to know everybody. And then we can do so many cool things together with this process, as well as, like I said before, all of our tools are open source. We're still working on some of the documentation on it, but we're happy to help you show those tools, and then do some collaborations with Optimism Fractal, and whatever you have in mind. And then what we'd like to do is also start up lots of different, fractal communities, so to speak. And they can be called fractals, or they can just be called, the Shutter Network community, or whatever it is. And then you could use the respect game wherever you see fit. And I think it could really help. And yeah, it was a pleasure to hear from you at the Octant as well. And thanks again so much for joining and sharing all your thoughts. It's very inspiring, and I'm looking forward to working more with you. And then one more thought too about I was looking at a note I wrote, doing in the coming week, as you were speaking, and I just remember what that was. You were mentioning it was a bit surprising how you saw people sharing what they did in the past week, but not so much the future. And yeah, people are welcome to share what they want to do, what they're working on in the future. And I do that to some extent, like sharing a project in progress. But generally, it's pretty aligned with the idea of retroactive public goods funding. In this case, it's an award. It's not funding directly or anything like that. Just respect. But it's the idea of, like, what did you do in the past is kind of easier to assess than what are you going to do in the future. So of course, people are welcome to share what they're going to do in the future, and people are really excited about the project and the progress they're making on that. That's great too. But that's kind of like where that prompt comes from, about sharing what you did in the past. But at the same time too, though, that's something that Hodlon had shared an interesting comment about in the Discord chat, about potentially taking our prompt about what you do in the past and seeing about what can you do in the future to help Optimism Fractal and help Optimism more generally. So yeah, that's something that could perhaps lead into our next discussion about the future of Optimism Fractal, consensus process, and so forth. We are 20 minutes past the hour, and usually we try to keep it pretty concise, but I'm happy to stick around for longer if y'all want. If anybody has to go, then feel free. But we could keep talking. I see I see some interesting comments in the chat. Thanks for sharing those. I'll also share the Shutter Network in the chat too, so everybody can check those out. Oh, and by the way, Lauren, feel free to join the Discord too. I don't know if you did already, but we have Discord if you want to share your work with Shutter or any of the projects. I think you mentioned I'm misreading the name right now, but bot something. If you want to share any of your projects that you're working with in the Discord or introduce yourself there as well, that would be very welcome. As well as, I see Abraham sharing some interesting links too. So yeah, I don't know, Lauren, if you want to add or respond to any of that, if you have anything else in your mind, then we'd be happy to hear. Or we can also talk about if anybody has anything else that they want to announce and share with the community, then feel free. Or we can talk about the consensus process, or we can talk next steps, or we can wrap it up and save it for next week. I don't know. What do y'all think?
Yeah, sorry, I really need to run. But I'd be happy to see some notes on the tail end of this meeting and the consensus process and what you're all thinking.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Beckers. By the way, I'd recommend checking out the Tadas post if you haven't already. It's very interesting about the consensus process. He just posted today in the Discord, and we're also going to be publishing the last week's video and this week's video as soon as we can too, so everybody can watch it there. But yeah, thanks so much.
Is it the post from Tadas where I said I was thinking about consensus mechanisms and this is what I found out?
No, that was an interesting one too. But in the general chat, he just shared one which it's a Notion page. He called it OREC, which is short for Optimistic Respect-Based Executive Contract. And it's an idea about how we can. It's a pretty fairly well fleshed out. It's still a draft idea. I don't know exactly how far he is with it, but it seems pretty interesting, and I'd be interested to hear your thoughts about it. We can follow up in the chat.
I'll have a look. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks.
Have a great day.
All right, thanks, Beckers. Have a great day.
I'm getting some prod errors, so I'm gonna have to jump too.
Okay.
I'm gonna go soon too.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Abraham. And I guess should we all wrap it up? I know Rosmari said yes. Go. Lauren's waving. I think Hodlon was saying something. Should we wrap it up, or anybody have any last thoughts before we wrap it up? Or
no, I was curious, Dan. I was curious about your thoughts around the Quest. Maybe we can stay on and talk about like the hats integration, if you want to do that, or we can save that for another time.
I'm up for it. Well, first off, I think Abraham was just about to go, so I want to just once again thanks to Abraham and say really appreciate it. I was talking about your art too. The DX thing is super inspiring, so I'm very, very aligned with you there. And yeah, really appreciate all your support and all the stuff you're doing. So thanks so much. I hope you have a great day, Abraham.
Thank you so much. Good to see you all again.
Good to see you, Abraham.
Take care.
And Lauren.
I need to head off as well, but thank you again for having me. And Dan, I'll definitely follow up so we can continue the conversation.
Okay, sounds great. You're very welcome, Lauren, and thank you so much. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
and then you're heading off to Rosmari.
Yes.
Hodlon, what do you think? Do you want to talk about this? Should we keep on recording and do it all recording, or if you want to just follow up off the recording, we do that too. I suppose the first you want to go. I don't know if we should say like go optimism, like real quick before we head off, or should we do that? All right.
If you want to do a go optimism, maybe we can wrap up the recording and then we can just spend a couple minutes because I just wanted to hear your thoughts. And come together and see where we're at with it.
Okay, cool. That sounds good with me. All right. 3, 2, 1, 0. Go optimism! Woohoo! All right. Thanks everybody so much for the great meeting. Really enjoyed this. Hope that everybody enjoyed watching. We'll be back every Monday, 17 UTC. Check out optimismfractal.com. Invite your friends. Lou.much, Optimism Fractal. Happy New Year, and looking forward to seeing you next time.
Happy New Year.
Bye.